Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and today this is going to be an interesting little video for you. So I'm close to Interstate 64 here in Beckley, West Virginia, or just outside of Beckley, West Virginia. Just left Grandview State Park. I'll link the video to Grandview in my links to these YouTube videos. But we're getting on the interstate and we're heading east on Interstate 64 for several reasons. I want to talk about Glade Creek. I want to talk about the scary bridge. I want to talk about, well, it's beautiful scenery, uh, the scary grade down the mountain. And then the last point is the exit to Hinton and Sandstone, which I'm going to link other videos I've done of the Hinton Sandstone area to this video. So we've got a lot to talk about and very little time, honestly. I think the video is going to be right at about 14 minutes long. I may be a little bit off on my time there, but this is some of the most beautiful country in West Virginia. Uh, I don't typically do interstate driving videos. It's not one of my things. I'm typically on the country roads talking about little scenic places and different things. But some of the views and some of the just, you feel like you're at the top of the mountains. You know, you're very high up. Sometimes you feel like you're very low with the bridge and everything. You know that you're very high up. It's just really beautiful views in this section of Interstate 64. And you can see it right here, just looking dead ahead and see that beautiful blue hue of the mountains. Well, we're heading east. And technically, yes, the Blue Ridge Mountains are in Virginia, but this interstate does go into Virginia. But these mountains do appear blue on the horizon. Any which way you look, even if you're coming up from North Carolina, any which way you go, they do appear blue. So it's pretty interesting. And so just take in the scenery. Ignore some of my glares in the window. But we're going to talk about this bridge, and then right here it is. The Phill, there it is. It's scary. I hope I don't scare all you bridge people out there that are scared of bridges. But this is the Phill G. McDonald Bridge. And Phill G. McDonald is a Medal of Honor recipient. Uh, he was a soldier during the Vietnam War, and the bridge was named after him. He was born in Avondale, West Virginia. But now that we've finished crossing the bridge, had to hold my breath on that, I'm sure. But some of you probably did too. It's a scary bridge. We'll go over the statistics in a bit. But the Phill McDonald Bridge. So I don't know exactly if this is just a fluke or somebody messed up in the state of West Virginia. The bridge people, the bridge naming people messed up. Phill McDonald. You spell his name Phill. That's who the bridge is named after. But when you actually look at the name of the bridge, it's spelled Phil. It's missing an L. So shame on somebody. They goofed up there. But like I said, Phill McDonald, Medal of Honor recipient, he actually died in the Vietnam War in Vietnam, June 7th of 68. He was born in 1941 in Avondale, West Virginia. He was a private first class. The unit was Company A, 1st Battalion, 14th Infantry Regiment of the 4th Infantry Division. So this is what gave him the Medal of Honor. While serving as team lead with the 1st Platoon of Company A, the combat mission, his platoon came under heavy barrage of automatic weapons fire from a well-concealed company-size enemy force. Volunteering to escort 2 wounded comrades to the evacuation point, McDonald crawled through intense fire to destroy the automatic weapon with a grenade, and then returning set to be able to get them basically back to the evacuation point. Returning to his platoon, he then again volunteered to provide covering fire for the maneuver of the platoon from its exposed position. Realized the threat that he posed, enemy gunners concentrated their fire on McDonald's position, seriously wounding him. Despite his painful wounds, McDonald recovered the weapon of a wounded machine gunner to provide accurate covering fire for the gunner's evacuation. When other soldiers were pinned down by heavy volume of fire from the hostile machine gun to his front, McDonald crawled toward the enemy position to destroy it with grenades. He was mortally wounded in this action, and due to his gallantry at the risk of his own life, which resulted in saving the lives of his comrades, that's why he was given the Medal of Honor. So shame, I mean, that's great, but shame on well, if this was really truly a mistake, shame on West Virginia or the bridge people. Spell his name right on the lettering, like on the sign, because it's Phill, and they have it spelled Phil. So shame, maybe it's just a little bit of an oops. Maybe they did it intentionally for some reason that I'm not aware of. But no, there is a little boo-boo, I believe, right there. But still, it was a great thing to learn about with him receiving the Medal of Honor and his actions with the war. But he is actually buried. His body was brought back and was buried in Guilford County near Greensboro, North Carolina. So a little interesting information there. So, of course, you're seeing the signs over here to the right, the brown signs. That is for the national park, New River Gorge National Park. Glade Creek back there, the bridge we went over, that is part of the national park. Glade Creek was 700 feet below that bridge. The bridge itself, honestly, is one of the tallest bridges in the world. It's in the top 100 for the world, but it's honestly in the top 10 for the United States. And was the highest bridge within the interstate highway system until the bridge there at Hoover Dam. If you all are familiar with Nevada and the Arizona border, and there at the Hoover Dam, that is the Mike Callahan, Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge. Well, that bridge is now taller than, well, this bridge that we just went over, the Phill G. McDonald Bridge. But at one point, before that bridge was completed there at the Arizona-Nevada border, this one was beating it. So, but if you're down in the bottom of Glade Creek, which I highly recommend, people visit that area. I visited Glade Creek several times. I haven't been there in actually a long time. I will say that. So I will need to go back up in there. But there's, of course, the creek, Glade Creek. There's some waterfalls. It's a beautiful area. But you're down in the bottom and you look up and you see that bridge. It's like, wow. You realize how high up you really were when you came across that bridge. Now, speaking of being high up, you see these mountains? Isn't this a pretty view here on Interstate 64? This is one of those reasons I wanted to do this little bit of a video. This is a beautiful area to drive through. Many people complain about driving interstates is boring. You're never bored in West Virginia when driving the interstates because there's always beautiful mountains. Now, we have been coming down something called Sandstone Mountain, and it has a steep grade to it. Tractor trailers have had incidents here. Right there is a tractor trailer ramp. I've never understood those ramps really. When they're going up a hill, I understand. It makes perfect sense. But if it looks like the ramp's going down a hill, I mean, how does it really stop the daggone truck except wrecking at the end? I don't know. But anyway, those ramps are pretty neat to see, I guess. Whatever. But the trees, the mountains, the beauty. Anyway, we're getting close to the Sandstone Hinton area, and I highly recommend visiting that. Of course, the city of Hinton is not actually within the national park, and the national park is, you know, the border is kind of curved around. It's through Glade Creek, but it's not on this little section right here of the Interstate 64. It kind of curves around and goes and does its thing. But the New River is at Hinton. The Bluestone, the Greenbrier, they all meet up at Hinton. Sandstone Falls is beautiful, and that's part of the national park. So I highly recommend people take this exit off of 64 if they're coming from this direction and going to check out the that area of Hinton, Sandstone. I'll try to link a couple more videos of that part of the drive, of a drive I've done talking about history and different things. So let's get back to talking about the bridge just a little bit. The total length of that big bridge back there at the beginning of this video was 2,179 feet. I had mentioned that its height is 700 feet above Glade Creek. The longest span is 784. Original construction, like I said, was 1988. It opened July 15th, 1988, and the construction cost was $29 million. Um, the completion of the bridge was the final part of the Interstate 64, which was built by Governor Arch Moore, and there was a ribbon cutting ceremony back then too. So that's just a little bit more of that information on the bridge that I wanted to get out there. You can see now we're in a little bit of roadwork area, and we've just crossed over the new river, if I'm not mistaken, or we're about to. It's really close. It was this bridge, that bridge, coming up, one of the two. Take this exit and go to Sandstone, go to Hinton. It's really great place to go to. I typically would come up Route 19 to it. Is it Route 19? No, it'd be Route 20. That's how I would come up normally from where I lived in Mercer County, but it's a great place. Great place to visit. So you've seen now the interstate area. That's, part of the national park area or close to several different exits that involve the national park area. You've seen an exit to Pluto Road. One day I'm going to record Pluto Road. One day I'm going to do the crazy scary back road from Pluto Road down to Sandstone. I've done that before. There's some neat history there on that road too. One day I'll get to that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is about where I'm going to shut it off. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure. Talk to you later.